Good morning everyone, welcome back to MLI News Today on Sunday, 23 February 2020. My name is Sultan Ankaraja. As your news anchor, we'll lead you to see what happened on this week. On our first headline news today is about forest fire. Weather on Australia are not predictable for a month. A hot weather make some natural disaster on Australia. Forest fires happened on Australia since the end of 2019. This disaster already take a lot of victims, including 1 billion animals, plants, and 30 people. It must be a homework for our world, especially for Australia. Our reporters already stand by on Australia to take some report for us. Now we are connected to Nabiela. Hello Nabiela, can you hear me?
Okay, yes Sultan, as we can see, Australia is having a very serious problem now. The Australia Fire Service says New South Wales is facing one of the most dangerous days in the state history. Now with me Mr. Ashwin. So Mr. Ashwin, where are the areas that is affected?
Yes, thank you. Every state and territory in Australia has experienced fires this summer. But the biggest fires burn along stretches of the eastern and southern coast, where most of the population lives. This includes areas around Sydney and Adelaide.
Okay, Mr. Ashwin, so we are now that this is a very serious and dangerous problem in Australia. Even there are more than 100 fires alight, with 21 burning uncontained in the country's most populous state. Can you tell me how is the wildfire start, Mr. Ashwin?
Okay, Mrs. Reporter, as usually Australia has always experienced bushfires. It has a fire season, but this year they are a lot worse than normal. Fires are usually caused by lightning strikes or accidentally by a spark, but some fires are also started deliberately.
Thank you, Mr. Ashwin, for your explanation. So we know that Australia is having wildfires for several times, and Mr. Ashwin, as we know, is the fire must be extinguished immediately, and the authorities must have done their job. So the question is, Mr. Ashwin, how are the fires fought?
Fires are spraying water and fire retardant from planes and helicopters as well as from the ground. But fighting bushfire is extremely difficult, and often authorities have to focus on just stopping the spread rather than putting the fire out. The spread can, for instance, be contained by digging earth boundary to stop the flames from spreading. The priority is saving life.
They do their job very well. There are many people or even animals were saved because of them. But this is a very risky job, can even cause death. Not everyone can do this right, Mr. Ashwin. So, Mr. Ashwin, can you tell me who is fighting the fires?
Firefighters are the first in line to battle the flames, but they are outnumbered by the thousands of volunteers. 3 of them have died. There's also help coming from abroad. US, Canada, and New Zealand have sent firefighters to help. Australia's police, military, and navy are involved in rescue and evacuation efforts.
One more question for you, Mr. Ashwin. Because this is a very serious problem, the government must be very focused on this issue. The situation is very urgent, especially for the worst affected areas. So, Mr. Ashwin, can you tell me what is the government already done?
State runs its own emergency operation, but Prime Minister Scott Morrison has promised better funding for the firefighting and payouts for volunteers firefighters, and an additional American $2 billion for the recovery. But the national government has come under strong criticism from its opponent that it's not been doing enough against climate change.
Thank you so much for your explanation, Mr. Ashwin. Okay, as we know, the Australia wildfire is become the world spotlight. This issue is very urgent, and the result can have an impact for the world, not only for Australia. As we know that Australia forest is one of the world's lungs. There's a lot of animals and plants are threatened. I'm Nabiela reporting from New South Wales, Australia. Back to the studio in Jakarta, Sultan.
Thank you for your report, Nabiela. Based on the report from Nabiela about forest fire, what is the real meaning of forest fire? There are a lot of factors which is the background of forest fire. It may be because human, weather, etc. Government and people must be pulled together to finish this disaster. We have to know when we face some natural disaster, what should we do? Government should give us some instruction for facing it. Our reporter is already with a forestry expert on Sydney, Australia. Riqqoh, can you hear me?
Yes, Sultan.
Yeah, Riqqoh, can you tell us how can this disaster happen?
Yes, Sultan. Now I am in Sydney, Australia. As you can see, in Sydney, it is not very affected by forest fires that occur in Australia. The smoke here isn't too thick, and people activities in Sydney aren't disrupted. Now, with me, Mr. Ajiprasojo is a forestry expert. Mr. Aji, we want to know about the forest fires. What do you think about the forest fires actually meaning?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Reporter. Forest fires, wildfires, or rural fires are the uncontrolled fires in areas with the flammable vegetation that occur in the rural areas. Depending on the type of the vegetation present, wildfires can also be classified more specifically, such as burst fires, desert fires, forest fires, grass fires, hill fires, and vegetation fires.
We know some parts of Australia experiencing forest fires, causing a huge impact for people and animals. Mr. Aji, see from what happened to Australia, what is your response and what is the causes of forest fires?
The causes of the forest fires occur generally is a lightning strikes in the dry forest because of a long dry season. The second, the human carelessness, among others, throwing the cigarette butts carelessly and forgetting to put out the fire in the camp. Third, the volcanic activity, such as being exposed to lava flows or hot clouds from volcanic eruptions. Fourth, deliberate action, such as to clear agricultural land or open new agricultural land, and the act of the vandalism. Fifth, the last, underground fires or ground fire in pit cells that can ignite above ground fires during the dry season.
In Sydney, the impact was not felt, but in the other places in Victoria and New South Wales, it really felt the effect, like thick smoke that disrupt daily activities, and smoke also causes shortness of breath. Besides from this impact, what the other impact of forest fires?
The impacts of the forest fires is a spread carbon dioxide gas emission to the atmosphere, the killing of wild animals, and the destruction of plants, both due to the fire, smoke trap or habitat destructions, causing flooding for several weeks during the rainy season and drought during the dry season. The resulting drought can cause obstructions of transportation routes through the river and cause famine in the remote areas. Drought will also reduce reservoir water volume during the dry season, which result in the cessation of power plants during the dry season, the destructions of raw materials in the timber industries and furniture, the increasing of number of sufferers of respiratory tract infection and lung cancer.
Thank you, Mr. Aji, for your time and explanation, which is very useful for all of us. Based on the explanation from Mr. Ajiprasojo is a forestry expert, forest fires can occur due to natural factor and human behavior. The impact is also very bad. We as a human who have reason must try to protect the forest because the forest is very important for the life of living things. I am Riqqoh Firzy reporting from Sydney, Australia. Back to the studio in Jakarta with Sultan Ankaraja.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Aji and Mr. Riqqoh. As a reporter, the conclusion of all is the forest fire disaster is our responsibility. As a human being, we have to save our earth and take care of it. We have to remember, Fabi ayi alai rabbikum tukaziban. Let's move on to our Sunday special section with Sarah and Aqyla, who will give you some recipe of scrambled egg.
Hello! Welcome to Sunday section.
Today we are going to make fluffy scrambled eggs. My name is Sarah.
My name is Aqyla.
Enjoy!
So the ingredients are milk, salt and pepper, butter, and 4 eggs. The first step is crack the egg.
Satu juga.
And then you whisk the egg until it turns to color pale yellow. And then you pour the milk into the egg. And then you whisk it more. The more you whisk, the more the egg will be fluffy. And then add the salt and pepper. And then turn on the stove. Add butter to the pan and let it melt. After butter melt, pour the egg to the pan. Wait for a while until the bottom of the egg is set. After the bottom set, push the cooked egg to the center and so the uncooked egg will come to the outside. Right. Keep doing this until there is no uncooked egg left. Tada! You have the fluffy scrambled egg. Now enjoy!
That's all from MLI News today. I'm Sultan Ankaraja as your news anchor. See you on our news.
Hit 'em up!